Shout out to Caressa McKnight for sending me this story right here that is coming from CNN. And let me tell you something right now. The Scholastic Aptitude Test, also known as the SAT, and the people over it think they slick, but they can't pull the wool over our eyes. Notice I said our because I know many of us are very aware of what they're trying to do here. So we all know what's going on with that college admission scandal. No need to rehash that and bring everything back to the table because it's already out in the light. So now the SAT and the people over it, because of what happened with that, is saying they are going to assign a new score that factors in where you live and the crime level in your neighborhood. I literally just read the title to you from the CNN article that I'm going to read from. It, like I said, the SAT will assign a new score that factors in where you live and the crime level in your neighborhood. It's pretty obvious who they're talking to here. They're talking to us, but they should be talking to them, and we already know who them is. Now, I already skimmed through the article, and there's one part in here in particular that stood out to me the most when I was reading it, and I'm going to really focus on that part when I get to it, and you'll know when I get there. The article says, the nonprofit group that administers the SAT said Thursday it will assign a new score to students who take their test to reflect their social and economic backgrounds. I'm trying to figure out, what does your social and economic backgrounds have to do with a SAT score when you're not even being tested on such things? Like when I did the SAT, they didn't try to give me a score based on where I live, but then again they said this is new. But this is dumb. This is dumb already, but we know why they're doing it. The new score, first reported by the Wall Street Journal, comes amid heightened scrutiny that colleges are facing over the admission process and the diversity of their student bodies. The College Board said it will implement what it calls the Environmental Context Dashboard, which would measure factors like the crime rate and poverty levels of a student's neighborhood to better capture their resourcefulness to overcome challenges and achieve more with less. Why does this this sounds like some kind of outreach program to inner city and urban communities? That's what it reads like. There is talent and potential waiting to be discovered in every community. The children of poor rural families, basically white trash, kids navigating through the challenge of life in the inner city, which is basically black children, and military dependents who face the daily difficulties of low income and frequent deployments as part of their family service to our country. David Coleman, chief executive officer of the College Board, said in a statement sent to CNN. No single test score should ever be examined without paying attention to this critical context. The Environmental Context Dashboard has been piloted at 50 colleges and universities, and the organization hopes to make it more widely available to other schools next year. Students are scored on a scale of 1 to 100 based on data from records like the U.S. Census and the National Center for Education Statistics. According to the College Board, a score of 50 would be considered average, while a number above 50 indicates more hardship. The score takes into account information from the student's background, but it does not include race. Now you gotta question yourself, or ask yourself rather, why would they not include race into this thing? But it reads as if they're talking directly to black people. Like when they talk about violence and low end neighborhoods and poverty and stuff like that, they don't be talking about white people. Although they do have their share of violence and low income areas. Probably more. Instead, it focuses on factors like their high school average senior class size, percentage of students eligible for free and reduced lunches, and academic achievement in advanced placement classes. A student's environment at home and in his or her neighborhood, like the crime level, the median income, the median family income, and family stability will be factors as well. They might as well replace a lot of these words in here with black people. That's who they're talking to. Colleges will be able to see the number when considering applicants, but students themselves will not be told their scores. That's another red flag. Why aren't you letting the students know what they got? That means they got to walk around aimlessly guessing what they received as far as a score. The news comes against the backdrop of a bombshell college admission scandal, which saw a slew of indictments against wealthy and powerful parents who allegedly paid their kids' way into elite universities. It wasn't alleged, they actually did it. The scandal reignited the debate surrounding race and economic backgrounds and what role they play in college admissions. Some parents were found to have paid bribes to have the SAT taken by others for their children. Not all the students were aware of the cheating arranged by their parents, according to the criminal affidavit in the case. No student currently faces charges in the scandal. A lawsuit against Harvard University also accused the school of discriminating against Asian American applicants by giving them low personal ratings that take into account traits such as leadership and likability, which lessen their chances of admission, while giving higher ratings to African American and Hispanic students. Harvard has denied there's an and see that goes right there. And by them doing that, that they're trying to play into the whole thing, that the whole affirmative action thing that we got in because because of who we are, as if we couldn't get in on our own merit. Harvard has denied there is any evidence of stereotyping. A judge has yet to make a ruling in the case. The College Board has been concerned about income inequality influencing SAT results for a long time. Now let's get into that part where I'm going to really focus on. White students scored higher on average than black students and Hispanic students in 2018, while Asian students scored higher on average than white students. And students whose parents are wealthy and college educated typically did better than their peers. Let me focus on that part just a little bit. It says that white students scored higher. Well, I guess they did, because many of them had, a little bit of a boost. They cheated for them. Now that all of this stuff is blown out the water. And then they said the Asian students significantly scored higher than the white ones. Well, guess what? They have now come out and said that they pretty much have paid their way for their student to get into college, and try to mask it as a donation, or said that they thought it was a donation. Isn't it ironic how the two highest scoring people for this test were the two main groups, especially white people, were at the forefront of this scandal? You didn't hear of one black person or Hispanic person have a family member involved in this, and you probably won't find it. And they're probably pissed that they can't find one. I went through a couple of months ago, back in March, I went through all the people that were involved with that scandal. Every last one of them at the time was white. Two of them are famous actresses. The only black person that was involved was one of, I guess you can say, the ringleaders, I guess you could say a henchman, that Rudy Meredith character. Let me continue. Yale University was one of the schools that tried using the adversity scores as it worked to increase socioeconomic diversity on its campus. Jeremiah Quinlan, the school's dean of undergraduate admissions, told the Wall Street Journal that Yale has nearly doubled the number of low-income students, and those who are first in their families to attend college to about 20% of new students. This adversity score is literally affecting every application we look at, Quinlan told the Journal. It has been a part of the success story to help diversify our freshman class. They pretty much just let it cat out of the bag with that statement. They're doing this to try to get more diversity in their schools, and for all I know, it could be just for them trying to get money, because they have to have a quota of quote unquote minority students in their school in order for the funding to continue to come. But this whole new score thing, we know who they're talking to. They're talking to us, but they're speaking in code language right now. Lee Atwater may have been a piece of shit, but he was right about that code speak. He has taught us that. And I see right through it. When I read stuff like this, it makes me glad that I'm no longer in the public school system, but I feel for our kids who are in it now, because I think they go through way, way, way more than what we did on every level when it comes to this so-called education system, especially if you're in public school. I remember the day I had to take the SAT. It was in January of 2007, I believe. Yeah, 2007. and I had to get up early, and it was cold that day. Very cold that day, because it's in the wintertime, and take that test. That test took, we was in that school, in that building, for what felt like 6 hours on a single test. Those of you who had to take that test, which I imagine was all of you if you graduated high school, know how long that test was. And I don't even think it was that long. It's just the fact that we had to wait for everybody to finish. You could be done, but you still had to wait until everybody was done. But I don't miss that. But this whole thing about this new score based on crime level in your neighborhood, and I see what it is. I see what it's for. And I think it's ridiculous. I really think a lot of these standardized tests are dumb anyway. I wish they could just get rid of all of them, in my opinion, if it was left up to me. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I will talk to you in the next one.